Hello and welcome back to my channel. Well, I don't know about you and wherever you are in the world, but here in the Kent countryside, autumn has come. The days are getting shorter and the cold weather has really started to set in over the past couple of weeks. Cozy season is officially here. And do you know what? I'm not even mad about it because this is my favourite season of the year. And this seasonal change can mean only one thing. Yes, it's time for the Great Wardrobe Switchover. Okay, so here you can see an overview of my existing wardrobe, my summer wardrobe. There's dresses, sandals, and copious amounts of linen which all need to be packed away. Right, so first things first, I'm removing my rug because a switchover does tend to generate quite a lot of dust. And then I'm giving the floor a quick hoover so that I have a nice clean space to start with. Now for those of you regulars, you'll know that I keep my alternate wardrobe in storage tubs in the eave storage space which I can access via this little hatch. So my first big task is to climb in there and get out all of the storage tubs that hold my autumn-winter wardrobe. And now starting off with my main rail, I'm going through piece by piece just to see if there's anything which can stay at least for the duration of autumn and what needs to come off the rail entirely. So I'm removing most of my dresses, aside from perhaps a couple of thicker loungewear dresses, and then I'm moving on to shirts. Again, picking out those basics which can stay for now because they're a good layering option, and then removing all of the summer linens. Then with what's left, I just group each category together on the rail. I like to clean as I go along, so I'm just giving any dust gathering surfaces, like the majority of the shelves, a good wipe down, whilst also removing some of my summer accessories from this top shelf. Now before I start opening my storage tubs, I'm adding in anything that I've purchased in the last few weeks in anticipation for autumn. I've kept these few items on a rail in a spare bedroom, ready for this wardrobe switch. Back to the dresses, skirts and shirts that I removed from the rail. I laid these in their categories on a bed in one of the spare bedrooms, and now I'm going through to remove all the hangers as I'll need these for the items that are going to go back on the rail. Now opening up my first storage tub, which again have been packed in categories, which you might have seen in the last switchover video, this one of which is coats. I packed away all my coats in storage bags just for a bit of extra protection, and I always find that keeps wool and cashmere coats in particular nice and fresh. So one by one I'm hanging my coats, and these are always arranged in colour order from light to dark. So as you'll see on the rail, the camel and beige shades are on the left, going through to black on the right. And I separate my wool and cashmere coats from my trench coats, raincoats, and eventually my puffer coats when I bring those out in winter. So these are all subcategories of coats, and each subcategory runs from light to dark. Unfortunately, it is inevitable that coats will be creased when getting them out of the storage boxes, but if you tune into next week's video, I'll be showing you all the things I do to prepare my wardrobe for the new season, including my care tips and tricks. Moving on to my second largest rail and sticking with outerwear, this is where I keep blazers and jackets. So once again, I'm going through the rail and removing any predominantly spring-summer items, which in this case is anything made from linen. Now whilst I have blazers on this rail all year round, for autumn-winter it tends to get padded out with thicker jackets. So anything made from wool or cashmere, I've got my wax jacket on there too, and also my shorter puffer coats. The colours again run from light to dark in each category, from blazers to jackets. Now I felt like a bit of a change, so I'm moving on to footwear, starting off with my shoe shelves, which throughout the spring-summer seasons have been home to my most worn sandals, a few loafers and some of my Converse high tops. I've removed all pairs from the shelves so that I can clean them, and the selection I'll be keeping out for the autumn-winter seasons have been placed on the floor, whilst any sandals have been lined up in a spare bedroom to be packed away later. Now I also keep footwear in the cupboard which is just outside the door to my wardrobe, and I have more sandals in here, loafers, and the majority of my beloved trainer collection. I have one of those door-hung shoe storage thingies, which has actually been really useful, albeit not particularly attractive. So all the sandals I had in here are coming out and joining the lineup of things to be packed away. And in the stacked storage boxes, I'm removing footwear like espadrilles before bringing in my autumn-winter footwear. I have one small storage tub which has some trainers and boots, but the majority of my shoes are always stored in the original boxes that they came in, aside from my trainers which stay out in my wardrobe all year round. Once I have all my seasonal footwear out and grouped in their categories, I can then assess where is the best place to store each category. I've decided to move these Converse into my stackable trainer storage so that all trainers are together in one place. And I'm moving my flat shoes like my Birkenstock Bostons and any loafers into the hung storage on the inside of the door. The reason for this is because I now have boots to account for, which are much chunkier and in some cases are too high to fit anywhere other than my shoe shelves in the main wardrobe. Now the beauty of this wardrobe is that I can remove the shelves and adjust them to the heights of the footwear for that season. And as I have 3 pairs of knee-high boots, this is especially useful because now I can give them the space that they need. The downside is that I've now lost several shelves to accommodate my boots, but I do have an overflow option to utilise the shelves above the rails. Now onto my smallest and final hanging rail, which I use for trousers. Again, using the same process of going through, removing summer trousers and then cleaning the space, including the tops of these hangers, which can gather quite a bit of dust. Once I've got my autumn-winter trousers out of the storage tub, they're hung and added in to that light to dark colour order on the rail. Moving on to my accessories tower and starting off with the 3 drawers at the bottom, which have had shorts, skirts and summer hats in, giving them a good clean before bringing in my cold weather accessories. Now this is the first autumn-winter season that I've had with these 3 drawers, as they were sold out and took about 6 months to find after finishing the wardrobe installation. So it's an added bonus to have designated drawers for all my scarves, gloves and hats. The 2 drawers that are currently home to my plethora of basics are next on the agenda. As you can see, I have a lot of basics, and whilst I wear them daily during the spring-summer seasons, I'm considerably refining the amount that I have and that I keep out for the autumn-winter seasons. I'm just picking out a tiny handful of t-shirts and vests, which will be useful for autumn, but come winter, I'll switch to my thermals as a base layer under my outfits. The biggest task for every autumn-winter switchover that I do is always my knitwear, which is why I usually leave it until last. I keep my knitwear rolled in several drawers in this unit, and I'm starting off by editing the knitwear that's already in the drawers one by one. Removing any knitwear that I deem as my summer knitwear, so basically anything which is really thin or potentially made of cotton rather than wool or cashmere. One thing I've never done is group my stripes together, but I noticed that I had quite the collection of striped knits. Yes, it's a weakness of mine, so I'm grouping those together in one very stripy drawer. Now if you thought I already had enough knitwear in my drawers, you're right. But alas, I do have more in a storage tub, so it's time to whip that out so I can start thinking about how each drawer will be grouped together. It's usually done by thickness and or style of knit. For example, chunky cashmere roll necks will all go together, and any thinner basic cashmere in a V-neck, crew neck and polar neck will all go together in one place, as those are often used for layering. Now I do have my 2 basics drawers which have been freed up for knitwear. The basics I decided to keep out went into my 2 underwear drawers. So I'm just shuffling things around to make the most of each drawer space. I have 1 drawer of denim, which is a far cry from the days of my overfilled bendy denim rail, and I've removed all of my denim from this drawer and fetched a couple of darker pairs that I had in an autumn-winter storage tub. So I'm going to refold and edit down my pile of denim as I put it back in the drawer. Once again, popping any of my summer denim in the spare room, ready for packing away later. Rather than laying my denim flat in a drawer, I like to fold it like this so that each pair is easily seen. My final areas to edit and swap out are my bag cupboards. I'm taking out any seasonal bags like basket bags, raffia bags and canvas bags, and bringing in the couple of bags which I put into storage last spring. Putting my bags in here is always somewhat of a jigsaw puzzle. They all fit perfectly once I figure out the right order or what should go where. As you'll see, the majority of my bags are kept in their dust bags, even though they're inside a cupboard. And this is just for some extra protection and also so that I don't lose the dust bag. Now, I don't think I have an excessive amount of bags, so I know exactly what I have in my collection, but the dust bags also help me identify which bag is inside. Time now for a final hoover and dust. The rug can come back in and be rolled out, and I'm dropping some lavender essential oil drops on my lava rocks. This acts as not only a deterrent against pests, but it also just smells nice. Now, unlike previous years, I've left the packing away my spring-summer wardrobe items until the end of the process. Because we have more space in this house for me to store items throughout the days, I'm taking bits out and unpacking the storage tubs. It's a bit of an experiment to see if this method might suit me better rather than putting items away as I go along. So category by category, items are now folded and packed away into the empty storage tubs that I've now been left with. I make sure to not overfill the tubs to ensure that the lids lock into place securely, ensuring there are no gaps for any pests or moisture to get in. Once everything has been put away, it's time to store the tubs back in the eaves of my wardrobe until next spring when I'll do my next switchover. And now, after 7 hours of switching, it's time for the final wardrobe tour. It's a great feeling after doing these switchovers. Everything is neat and organised, and a new season always looks and feels more fresh in here. Okay, so in terms of boots, the majority are stored here on my shoe shelves, which have now been reconfigured to accommodate the varying lengths of boot. As I've painted my wardrobe, I do need to do a couple of paint touch-ups here when I remove some of the shelves, but otherwise the paint is holding up really well. Out in my shoe cupboard, I've got my flats hung on the back of the door and my trainer collection all nestled safely in my stackable storage towers. These are linked down in the description box for anyone who's interested. Back in the wardrobe, my trousers remain in the same place, but linen has been swapped out in favour of wool, and my slippers once again reside on the shelf below, ready for the chilly days spent at home. The central rail has been stripped of summer dresses and replaced by my collection of winter coats, which you can see me restore to their former glory in next week's video. A small selection of shirts still linger on the end of the rail for the remainder of the transitional weather. Linen blazers and waistcoats have been stored away, and my jackets have come back out to see me through the next 6 to 8 months. My accessories tower has been neatened up with some storage boxes I had in our home office, so it appears less cluttered. My 2 jewellery boxes have been relocated to a pull-out tray below the shelf where they once lived. And the other 2 pull-out trays have been condensed down to free up the tray for the jewellery boxes. I've got belts and my umbrella and any phone covers on one, and my sunglasses collection on the other. And below that, I have 2 drawers of scarves, one purely for my Acne Canada scarves, and then a final drawer of hats, gloves, and wrist warmers. Over in the bag cupboards, only a few slight changes to be seen with the removal of any seasonal bags, but a general clean has been done and reorganisation of the bag cupboard jigsaw puzzle. Onto my double drawer units, my nightwear drawer has been culled of any summer nightwear, and my denim drawer has been given an autumn refresh. Super chunky knitwear fills knitwear drawer number 1, followed by my drawer of stripes. Thick cashmere is rolled in the drawer below, and a further drawer of chunky knits to mirror the opposite side is at the bottom. Below my main rail, I have a drawer which hasn't changed, and this is home to any long knitwear such as cardigans and dresses. And my basic knitwear that I use for layering now lives in the top one of my former basics drawers.